who have been talking privately among themselves about how can we get more things done? How can we find consensus? How can we drop the word comprehensive maybe and make some incremental progress on things? That to me is a fascinating, and Joe Biden's a big part of those conversations to see if they can find, I don't know whether you can call it the middle or the center anymore, but just some functional group that trusts each other and that can find ways to get things done.
Notice the taxation without representation, license plate.
Yes. We Washingtonians, that's a big deal because we have no representation.
There is nothing quite like watching this motorcade, though, as it passes you by. As for all those on the stand, it is an awesome sight. Just the number of vehicles, the size of the vehicle they call the Beast there, carrying both the vice president and another one carrying the president.
And those are heavy machines, heavily fortified, but make no mistake, they're going to go very slowly today when we see them, if necessary. I've been out to the Secret Service training headquarters and watched them do the emergency drills with these things. That's a treat.
I can't go down to the Cadillac dealership and pick one of those up?
No.
There are already people lining, of course, the parade route, trying to get a good spot, as they have been all morning long. And here on the National Mall, it is getting very, very crowded indeed as more and more people arriving. People realizing the president, the vice president are on their way here. And certainly the excitement is building as we approach the hour in which the oath of office will be taken. Let's bring in Wolf Blitzer, who's over closer to the Capitol. Wolf.
This is sort of the reverse, Anderson, of the parade that will be going from Capitol Hill over towards the north lawn of the White House. And then this presidential motorcade carrying the president, the first lady, the vice president, the second lady. Chuck Schumer is the chairman of the inaugural committee. They are coming in the opposite direction of what will be taking place after the luncheon here, after the swearing-in ceremony up on Capitol Hill. And it's nice to see this these live pictures coming in from the motorcade as it heads towards Pennsylvania Avenue, makes that turn up Pennsylvania Avenue towards Capitol Hill. It's really a short drive. They're not driving too quickly. Kate Baldwin is here. David Gergen is here. All of us have made this drive. The folks will be watching along the sides, but they're going to be gathering to watch a little bit later. David, as you watch this, what's going on? What goes through your mind?
Oh, it's a sense of ritual, Wolf, that we every 4 years we go through this, and it has a pageantry about it. And people, again, come here, Republicans and Democrats, in a celebration of democracy. It's one of the, I think it's a grand part of our American heritage that we've been able to see these, to realize that people used to take carriages up and down this same path. And now we have these cars. And here on the state waiting stand, what's been really interesting watching out here, all the senators are waiting, but they're mostly out there with cameras taking pictures.
That's what I said. That was a rare moment of bipartisanship that I saw when the number 3 Republican in the House, Kevin McCarthy, was teaching the number 2 Democrat in the House, Steny Hoyer, how to use his iPhone to take a picture of the whole crowd. The
presidential historian H.W. Brand is joining us as well. Give us a little historic perspective right now, and as we see Eva Longoria walking into the Capitol.
It's a big day. The president has been reelected. That puts him in a very small minority of presidents. Only 17 presidents who've won a second term. He faces real challenges, of course, and he's had to deal with problems in the first term. He's made progress on those. He's certainly going to say something about the progress that has been achieved so far. Since he's been reelected, he's able to take a longer view of politics than he has until now. So he will be looking for the line that will make it into the history books, say, 30 years from now. We'll cover this, we'll hear what he has to say, and it'll be reported tomorrow. But then people will forget the words day after tomorrow, and he'll get back to business. And maybe the lines, maybe the words from the inaugural address today will be reported in history books 20 or 30 years from now. But second inaugural addresses are a pretty hard genre.
And the tradition of driving in this motorcade from the White House up to Capitol Hill, it's a long tradition. But before there were cars, there were horses. Give us a little historic perspective on what we're seeing right now, Professor.
Well, one of the key aspects of this, now motorcade, what used to be a procession, it was done on foot, on horseback, and carriage, is that it reminds us that at this critical moment for democracy, when we inaugurate a president, that the 2 branches of Congress, the 2 ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, really do have to come together. Tomorrow they might split apart, but for today, we celebrate the fact that democracy works. We hold elections and we install our leaders peacefully.
And Professor, the fact that the president invited here members of the cabinet, we can see arriving now as well. You saw Susan Rice, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. There's Leon Panetta, the defense secretary, walking in right now. So there's more members of the cabinet coming in. But this is the motorcade that's carrying the president, the first lady, the vice president, second lady, and others up Pennsylvania Avenue towards the Capitol. H.W. Brands is the presidential historian, the author who's helping us better appreciate the enormity of this historical moment that we're watching. They're getting closer and closer. That's quite a long motorcade that they've got. I guess the Republican and Democratic congressional leadership, Kate, they're in that motorcade as well. Professor, how significant is it that and there you see Janet Napolitano, the Secretary of Homeland Security, walking in with other members of the cabinet. How significant is it that the president invited the congressional leadership for coffee after coming back from church before heading up to Capitol Hill?
It seems a clear indication that he realizes that if anything's going to be done in this second term, it's going to have to be done on a bipartisan basis. Presidents in their inaugural addresses always speak in bipartisan fashion. Thomas Jefferson famously said, "We are all Republicans, we are all Federalists." Presidents in their inaugural addresses almost always repeat that theme. We can count on President Obama saying something like that today. The real question, of course, is whether the actions follow through tomorrow.
There's the outgoing Treasury Secretary, Timothy Geithner, walking in. We saw Ken Salazar, the Secretary of the Interior. We also are watching all these members. I'm curious, David Gergen, all members of the cabinet, the congressional leadership, the House leadership, the president, the vice president, they're all there. But there will be one designated member of the cabinet who won't be here. God forbid, for if there were a horrendous situation.
I think we just saw Craig Robinson walking in as well, the First Lady's brother, as we were just watching this all happening before us.
We don't know who that person is yet, but we will know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We will know. It's just like the joint sessions of Congress, right. Wolf, as you well know. One person has to stay back, which is important for a sense of continuity of government, continuity of control. But again, these rituals have such a rich tradition, and they go back so many, inauguration after inauguration. And I do think that it gives Americans a sense of continuity in our national life.
As we look ahead to the president's speech, as we watch his motorcade making its way towards the Capitol, I was looking back and I saw that George Washington's second inaugural speech was all of some 140 words.
Well,
it's
that's
almost
right.
like the equivalent of a tweet in terms of inaugural speeches. How do you think, in terms of length, I think, as I believe Jessica Yellen said earlier, shorter may be better, but it is also, of course, the contents of what he says, and if there is that memorable line that will go down in history.
Well, second inaugural addresses, as Professor Brand said, have not been well remembered.
Right.
But the general theory is shorter is better. Lincoln, the most famous inaugural address, second inaugural, 700 words plus.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And everybody's talking about that, especially because of the film Lincoln, which obviously had an enormous impact, apparently, on the President of the United States. He keeps talking about how when he saw that film, it really resonated with him as the current President of the United States.
A few of the other folks that we've seen streaming in, Rahm Emanuel, the former chief of staff to President Obama, now the mayor of Chicago. I think we were just seeing Kelly Clarkson coming in. She will be performing soon, as well as James Taylor, who Wolf, we had the chance to speak to at the Democratic Convention.
Right,
he was there performing, a longtime supporter of the president. Even went to perform at some. And Beyonce has just walked in. I think you saw that shot right there, and the crowd really went wild when they saw it as well. They could see her.
Beyonce will sing the national anthem
with her husband, Jay-Z. That's quite a couple to be at the inauguration today.
There's Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter walking in, the former president of the United States. So there will be Bill Clinton will be there. Obviously, the Secretary of State, the outgoing Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. But Jimmy Carter is attending as well with Rosalind Carter.
Not often have we said Beyonce and Jay-Z and then the Carters in the same sentence. That's for sure. That definitely shows the range that we're seeing at this inauguration.
The Carters would like that.
Hold on a second.
Rock and roll.
Hold on a second. Jim Acosta's joining us right now. Jim, tell our viewers where you are.
Wolf, we are at the east front of the Capitol right now, and it looks like the president's limo has just pulled in to the carriage house entrance on the Senate side of the Capitol. It's sort of difficult to figure this out, Wolf, because as you might imagine, the president's motorcade has a number of limousines, a number of armored vehicles all around it. And so part of that for security reasons, of course. But we were told by our Senate producer, Ted Barrett, earlier this morning that the vice president is being accompanied by Lamar Alexander, the senator from Tennessee, the Republican senator from Tennessee. Chuck Schumer is with the president, and they'll be heading in shortly in just a few moments. They call it the carriage house entrance, of course, because actual horse and carriages used to come through that entrance.
Hold on a second, Jim. The Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, was just introduced. He's there. There's the First Lady of the United States. She has just arrived as well, and she's now inside the Capitol. Dana Bash, you're inside the Capitol. Where's the First Lady walking in right now?
Well, where she's supposed to go, actually, I can see exactly where she's going. Ironically, the holding area, the staging area, is in the Senate dining room. That's the place that is exclusive just for senators. They can invite guests. I've had the honor of being in there a few times. That is where she and the president are going to wait. And in fact, I'm guessing right about now, they're going up to the 4th floor of this building, of the Capitol, into a special vault where the Bibles that she will be responsible for taking out to hold for her husband to put his hand on to take the oath. They will probably be making their way down to her right now. Again, these are
Dana, the vice president is walking in right now with Senator Lamar Alexander, who's one of the co-chairs of this inaugural committee. The vice president is there. He's obviously a happy guy. He's smiling broadly coming into the U.S. Capitol, and we'll be seeing more of these VIPs coming in as well. Sorry I interrupted you, Dana, but the president, there we can see the president getting out of the limousine as well. He's going to be walking in, and there will be a lot of excitement as he walks in. There's no doubt about that. Dana, when he comes in, he goes into a little holding area, is that right?
That's right. As I was saying, that their hold is the Senate dining room. But then what they're going to do is go down. Their walk is going to be on the 1st floor of the Capitol through what's known as the crypt, down a really long flight of stairs out to the west front. And then everybody, will see that first moment of him coming out for the ceremony to begin. There you see the president. He's coming in what Jim was talking about, the carriage entrance of the Capitol. That is the entrance that is probably most used to get into the Senate side. He's greeting members of the leadership there.
President kissing Nancy Pelosi, the minority leader in the House of Representatives. He's accompanied by Chuck Schumer, who's the chair of this inaugural committee. They're coming in. Harry Reid, John Boehner, all of the leaders. Take a look at all those flags that are being waved on the National Mall in front of the U.S. Capitol. I'm looking out at this picture, and it is a huge, huge crowd. Anderson Cooper's on the other side, not far away from the Washington Monument. Anderson, from your vantage point, what does it look like?
It is an amazing sight here, Wolf. You can see flags as far as the eye can see, and there you have former President Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Haven't seen much of her since she got out of the hospital. It's nice to see that she is here today with the former president as they make their way toward the podium where they will sit behind President Obama and Vice President Biden as they are sworn in. We're going to hear them announced when they walk to the edge. We'll listen in to the
like a school teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, the names of each of the armed forces presents our national colors.